to the third video. In the first two videos, what we did was we laid down the foundation for our song, and we also went through and added in some incidental little percussion type things, and then we laid out all of our patterns here in the playlist so that we can essentially separate everything and then bring it in and out when we want to. We're arranging, which is what we're going to do in this tutorial. And then also, I mentioned at the end of video number 2, I went through and got rid of 2 of the VSTIs so that way we didn't have to worry as much about any kind of processing problems. And also, one other thing I'd suggest is go up here into the Tools section and go to Macros and then choose Switch Smart Disable for all plugins. And basically that's just going to go through and turn on the Smart Disable function, which basically turns off the plugin, whether it's a VSTI or a VST effect. It'll turn it off when not in use. So again, that'll help to save some processing power. What I'd like to do, just to refresh your memory, is listen to our pattern and then we'll start putting together our song. Okay, so cool. So now that we've got that out of the way, we can actually start to have a little bit of fun here. You know, really, this is just going to be more up to your individual taste and your own musical aspirations. So, you know, you definitely don't have to follow what I'm doing here. But I'm just going to try to put together a song. Again, we're going to try to keep it at about a minute and a half, because again, we just don't have time to really go in depth and, you know, create a full song and then mix and master and all this kind of stuff. But I do want to put together a short example so that way we have something to go off of for the mixing tutorial. And then finally, the last video in the series, we're going to use the multi-band compressor to try to finalize it. And that's just a side note. Let me just explain this, go a little bit more into it in the mixing tutorial. Mastering is not really something you should be trying to do on your own. Besides the equipment factor, most top engineers will tell you it's never a good idea to try to master your own stuff. The reason being that you created the song, you mixed the song, you're emotionally involved in the song, and because of that fact, you're not going to be able to get decent results out of it 9 times out of 10, just because you are already hearing it one way in your head because you wrote it and then you went through and mixed it. So now you're hearing it one way in your head, and you know, we as musicians have a hard time getting that idea out of our head once it's in there. So it's always a good idea to turn mastering over to not only a professional, but a professional with fresh set of ears who is not going to be subjective to the process and can really give it an objective listen and an objective treatment. So I guess what we can do to start this out, let's see, we got some cool stuff here. Okay, I think that kind of creates a neat little ambient kind of intro there. So, I guess we can start bringing in drum elements from there. will continue to draw this out and start adding in a couple more elements. And let's see here. We can do like this. Okay, so that would be kind of a cool place to change it up a little bit. Let's see what we can do. Start right here. Alright, so cool. We have some neat stuff going on there, and now we can start adding some more things in. And what we're going to be doing here, and again, this is where it comes down to your own musical taste, but you want to be listening for good spots for transitions. And given that, we're only working with like a minute, minute and a half here, it's kind of difficult to really do like the whole build-up, breakdown, build-up kind of thing. But we're going to try to do it here. So, and I'm going to try not to keep going back. I don't want to keep going back to the beginning of the song every time. Sometimes it'll be necessary to get some ideas, but I'm going to try not to make that a habit, because I don't want you to have to sit there and listen to it over and over until we really start getting things together here. So, let's go back here. Start throwing some of the extra percussion in here. Just do it randomly for there. So I just want to listen from the beginning and see where we're at. Okay, so you can kind of get an idea as to what we're doing here. We're trying to take the different elements and kind of bring them around to shape the song as it's coming along. Keep in mind also that while we're doing this, we're not mixing, so everything is straight down the middle. It's not EQ'd, volume levels are not correct. Basically, I just want to arrange the song right now, and then when we get to mixing, we'll adjust the levels, we'll EQ, we'll compress, we'll put reverb, we'll get everything sounding good. So for right now, we're just trying to put together the elements of the song. So I know that while you're listening, you'll hear some parts that are jumping out at you and some that are kind of hidden and stuff like that. Some things are stepping on each other. So we'll get to that in the mixing process. Don't worry about it. Looks like right now we're about at 1.5 minutes. I want to kind of draw this out a little bit more. So I guess maybe we'll shoot for 2 minutes. So I'm going to continue to play around with this. We'll see if we can't try to build it into something more. I know it's kind of difficult since we're only working with 3 patterns and a limited amount of time and space here. Let's see, and what I want to do is kind of do a crash build up here. Back up a little bit. Okay, and the last thing that we'll do is, actually, what we'll do? We'll go down here with the pattern clips, and we see that this is going to be pattern number 6. And there it is. And what we'll do, I guess, is try to create like a rolling build-up kind of thing with the cymbal. Try to get this right here. And okay, so looks like past it. Okay, so we're back here. Okay, we'll just draw these out. Okay, these we'll do quarter notes. And like I said, we're gonna go back and adjust the volumes on some of these things, so don't let that throw you off. I know some of this stuff is kind of loud. now what we'll do is go through and try to add some stuff with pattern clips and try to get kind of creative with that. I want to play this through and we'll listen for areas that we could enhance. Anytime that we come up to a transitional period, I want to try to put in something that is going to tell you that, you know, it's a build up and that there's something coming. So let me see what we can do here. See, and the cool thing about pattern clips is you can play around with creating different rhythms. We'll just shift this off by 1. 2. Do like a snare. Play around with another one. And then when we go into mix, we can bring up the volume on this stuff right here. Let me throw one more in. Good way to bring it back out of here is to go back to the way that we started with this guy going right here. Okay, so cool. So that brings us right at about, what, 2 minutes 12 seconds at the end. So, again, it's not, going to be the next great club hit or anything, but for our purposes, it works out. Just to sum up what we've done in these 3 videos. In the first video, we went through, laid out the foundation, and put together some loops in these first 3 patterns that sounded good together. Then, in the second tutorial, we added in a couple extra little things, and we went and separated those 3 loops into all these different patterns right here. And then in this third video, what we just did was went through and arranged the song, and that way we could create a song just based on those 3 patterns that we made. Of course, with your own project, you're going to want to take more time and really go in depth with it and, do what you want to do creatively. But in the next video, in the 4th video, what we're going to do is actually get down to mixing, and in that we're going to do, volume changes, any kind of EQ or effects, do compression, panning, and we're really going to try to start making this sound good. So, in the next video, we will really get down to business, and then in the final video, we will try to do some finalizing to get the track sounding really good. I will see you in the next video.